Hey, it's your boy DJ Wolf here. You know, there's something that I've noticed in the last several years. For example, my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, my current residence out here in the DMV, and other places around the country. There are several places over here that doing a lot of urban renewal and sprawl, as I call it. Cleveland's been doing it for, honestly, for the past 36, 37 years. I remember back in 1980, they started, when the factory started moving out the city, and a couple of club warehouses were turned into discotheques. And at the time, disco was on its way out the door, and they was turning some of those warehouses into apartments complexes. You know what they call them? Now it's another name for them. But anyway, they turned them into those apartments, and they've done several of those buildings like that on the Lower West Side downtown. And there was the Republican National Convention was out there last year, and I actually watched the local news media online, and there was a guy who was going to rent out his apartment. Do you know how much his apartment he was going to rent out his apartment for? His condo? $2,000, not a month, not a year, not a week, $2,000 a day to rent it out for the Republican National Convention if you want to stay downtown and be there where the action was. That, my friends, is called gentrification. Okay? And they're doing it more and more in many of the neighborhoods. Matter of fact, I went back home. I live near Superior Avenue in 123rd, and I never saw so many white people before in my life. Yeah, white people moving back to the hood. You know, even on my street, I was like, where all these white people come from? You know? Now, when I was a kid, I used to deliver papers to these two old white women who lived in a house near the end of my street. And they never came out. You rarely saw them. I saw them, I knew who they were and all that. But anyway, but over the years, I've seen more and more white people hanging around the area. You know? I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but I know what's going to happen next. Gentrification. You know, down here in D.C., that's already going on. Out here in Southwest D.C. area, a lot of old apartments and houses that many people of color stay in, have been torn down and been moved out. They turned many of those into lots, and those lots became sold to companies who eventually put hotels, buildings and stuff like that around there. And many of those people are gone, you know, or in other words, been moved out as a result of gentrification, or rent has been going up. So I don't know. I'm not going to say it's necessarily a bad thing. Not necessarily a good thing, but I know one thing we need to start doing as people. We need to start preparing ourselves, man. And I'm going to say prepare to get your kids educated. Get them educated. I'm telling you right now. Need to start doing that. Because if you want to be able to survive out here in the world, you need to have a good education. I'm telling you right now. Ain't no time for foolishness no more. It's time to get it together. It's 2017, folks. We need to stop pussyfooting around. Get your acts together. Get your kids educated. I'm telling you. All this foolishness gotta stop. The other reason I say that, because I was watching, actually last night, a bunch of kids were over in my neighborhood fighting. They had before. Somebody had to call the police again, get them out of there after a game. Like they had nothing else better to do. But see, Part of the problem is no home training. I said it before, I'll say it again. If you ain't teaching your kids to act right at home, how the hell you think they're going to act anywhere else? You know, like I said, you got to do that. They ain't learn from home, they ain't going to learn nowhere else. You know, and then you want to blame the system. Well, the system didn't. No, I don't want to hear that shit. No. Bottom line, like they always say, charity begins at home. Get the ass in the books early. I'm telling you. And yeah, I can say because I've been a parent and I had to do that with my kid. You know, got the books very early. You know, in computers very early, at 4 years old, matter of fact. You know, so don't say it can't be done. And that goes for any single parent or family parent. Doesn't matter. Ain't no more excuses with this shit. I got 5 kids. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. You know, you had them. Get them together. Because after a while, somebody else is going to get them together for you. And, you know, you don't want that. Jesus. All right, guys. That's DJ Wolf. I'm going to cut it short. I'm out.